Ted Basso, Edward Michael Basso. I'm making this video today because it's of the utmost importance that the citizens of Ontario acknowledge the crimes that have occurred against me. I've remained in my unit pretty much barricaded and afraid for my well-being. And that is because I live at 335 Amherst Drive at Unit 502. I used to be the head of maintenance for this company from the year 2013 forward, working for Joe Torres and Keith Smallville. Tonight, I put the pieces together. In the unit below me is the unit 402. I've had cameras coming at my wall that could actually see me in proximate locations like this. My television is right there. They could read my TV screen. Cameras on the wall there, they could see me here. I could hear how the people could say. They would look to see if I was here. My son, James Paul Basso, a month ago or so, I was not aware was in this building at all. I found out later, they used to call him Rusty as a nickname. I found out later that that was possibly my son, just as of recently. I'm not sure though. So a person had an overdose down there. I believe it was my son, James Paul Basso, and I thought medical staff took that person out of here and took him to the hospital. I checked the morgue. There was no indication of my son there. I checked the hospital. There was no receiver person, my son. So I wondered what was going on. Anyway, as time has gone by, I started to hear that this individual, Rusty, had died. And then I heard that that Rusty person was my son. I've not seen my son since March 4th, 2010. Now, I need to tell you a story here, because the problem I'm having here, folks, is I've been in this unit since my partner has left. I've been here for like a year. My partner and I, Deborah Crotty. Now, in June 1st, she had left May 31st. From June 1st forward, I started hearing Deborah downstairs. The deal was either she was here for me or not here at all, because I work on this property. I also carry a credit card, drive a company vehicle. The owners have always trusted me. Now, I want to tell you this story quickly because right now I'm at risk of 3 armed OPP officers coming through the door that are trying to get a fictitious warrant for a fictitious reason, for no other reason but to silence me from sharing this knowledge with you, the public. I'm making this video an emergency and in the moment, so you will see officers coming around this corner, and when you do, you will know that the only thing that will transpire afterwards is they will uphold the law, and they will do what they needed to do a long time ago, or they won't. They will kill me. Now, and that is my position. I'm fearful for my life, and I'm going to tell you why. In June, I asked the property managers. That was Keith Burwell. Is Deborah in the building? They checked the cameras. They said, no, she's not here. But I kept hearing her. I love Ted. I love Ted. I want to see Ted. I leave the door unlocked thinking she was close by. She must have been in the unit below me. Anyway, July came aboard. Courtney Durant started working here. Immediately, within 2 days, he suggested he knew me. I explained to all the staff what was going on between Deborah and me. She has bipolar disorder. Over the last 14 years, we've had a relationship. Every summer, she becomes extremely manic. She becomes very difficult and hostile. I've learned to just let her go her way, and then after she settles down, she'll come back. She always has, always will. The only time she has not come back is when there was the use of a cocaine drug by an individual who's taken advantage of her. It's the only time. That was back in 2010. I had ran into a conflict with the law back then because they would not uphold the situation, and I was worried about her welfare, and I kicked in her door on March 4th on her birthday, 2010, and because I was afraid she was dead, and the coke users were on the middle floor. They were the ones taking advantage of her. That issue came to an end in her life. She came back to me. Once I was out of jail, she was the first person in front of me. So I'm not, even in the most extreme cases, she always ends up in front of me. Over all these 14 years, the same thing. But there's always that time when I got to back away from her and I got to let her do her thing. So anyway, I was concerned for her well-being in the month of June. I brought this to everyone's attention. And Courtney Jones, I brought him up to date as to the situation my partner goes through and what I should expect to see in the near future. Anyway, in a short time afterwards, I started hearing Deborah getting raped down below me by Courtney. And I got thinking, well, that sounds like Courtney and that sounds like Deborah. Again, I went to the owners. The owners told me Deborah was not in the building. Everybody kept trying to play on my mental illness as if that was the problem. That is not the problem. What we have here is Courtney was actually the perpetrator of the crime. Now, Deborah has never left this building at all. Now, as the month of August came by, I kept hearing the same thing. I love Ted, I want to see Ted. I kept hearing it regularly on a nightly basis. And the raping sounds on a nightly basis. I was terrified. I was traumatized by the end of August. I was falling apart. I had no idea who these people were and why they were doing what they were, and how come the office seemed to be covering this up, and how come nobody was doing anything. I called the police services more so, I do believe, in the month of August. I would have to check my records. Um, and when they came here, I tried to report the violations, the sounds of the rapes below. They said, "Why did you not report it earlier?" I said, "Well, I was trying to find out whether it was a TV show or whatever, because I wanted to get valid evidence so that I wasn't consuming anyone's time." Anyway, so I told them in frantic pace about the cameras, the thing, the harassment, all the noise and stuff. They did nothing. There was the OPP officers. 2 officers came here. There was another situation where we had an individual who got the listening device. This person spoke up with me with an officer downstairs. It was a woman. I had officers come down to the lobby downstairs. I went downstairs. I said, "Well, did not that person share everything? Because I heard them share everything with that uniform, that officer. Was there not an officer here?" They said, "Yes. There was an officer, a female officer there in the morning that was questioning everyone." So therefore, they have plenty of evidence as to what has been going on here, but yet they have done nothing to arrest the perpetrator, Courtney Durrance. Over this time frame, I was trying to figure out, like, what the heck is going on here? How come the OPP are not defending us? Courtney Durrance was recommended by the OPP. Coincidence, okay? Now, he is not allowed to have sex with my partner, and this is according to Section 153.1 of the Criminal Code of Canada. They must not be familiar with it. It's called sexually exploiting a disabled individual by a person in a position of authority. He only had to touch her at all insinuating sex to have a 2-year summary offense or a 5-year indictable offense. That's all is required to reach the requirements of the law to have him charged. Yet they don't seem to want to acknowledge this, that he's been with her right now, recently, in approximately the third floor is Deborah and Courtney, okay? He's been using her continuously. Since July and August, I never heard from Deborah at all. This suggested to me that there was cocaine use involved. Now, I didn't know about Rusty recently, a month ago, okay? Right now we're talking November. The date is on this film that I'm making this in this exact moment.